Hey everyone, I'm back with another Plan With Me video. I have my journal all set up for February for handling both personal and professional tasks and just everything that's going to be coming up this month. So I thought I would do another walkthrough and kind of talk about the setup that I found works, the little tweaks that I'm making in order to become more productive and efficient with my time, and be able to live with more awareness on a daily basis. So anyways, hopping into it, for February, I decided I was going to do a cover page. I've mentioned this before. I personally am focusing on function first and foremost whenever I'm creating my journal because I want to be able to rely on it so heavily. I do not want to get caught up in the pressures of having a beautiful planner and a journal. So I'm slowly going to be integrating different designs to see how it works out and be able to incorporate more creativity, not just with formatting for function, but also just for a different vibe and everything. So this one, it kind of was like a camo watery kind of theme. I literally just put squigglies down with different blue shades, and this is what happened. So yeah, I'm actually rather happy with it. It isn't anything too extravagant, but it isn't like a massive like scratch out kind of page. So that was cool. And then getting into it, I have my first page, and this is my editorial calendar. I do have some empty spaces. I am going to be putting in some quotes that I would like to have apply more heavily to what I want to focus on for this month. But as usual, I'm taking a tiny bit of time to see what speaks to me going into the first of the month. And once that happens, I'll be writing them into the empty spaces that I have. So for my editorial calendar, I have it set up simply. Let me actually pull. Yeah, so for last month, I used it in order to track which days I had posts and to put down the different categories because I was aiming to do 6 posts a week, 2 on my blog, 2 for this YouTube channel, and then 2 on my music channel. And it was fun to see how easy it actually was to do that. I decided to step back towards the end of the month in order to focus on some other long-term projects and everything. But overall, I'm very excited about how all of this worked out. So keeping that in mind, I very much like the idea, so I'm keeping this for now and I'm going to see how this works out. I do have some updates on how I'm handling my business journal setup, but we'll get into that shortly. So other than that, I have my goals all listed out, and then we go into the monthly spread. So I have it laid out for my personal side, being able to list out upcoming trips, tasks, and just notices about birthdays and everything. And then I have my to-do page split by personal and professional as usual. And I'll be filling this in shortly, just so I can have an overview of what I would like to get done this month, even if I don't know exactly which week it will be getting done on. So after my spread here, I have my time log, and this is definitely a business spread, and I have it set up for the dates, how many hours are spent per day, the actual times per day I'm working, and description for the different types of work I'm going to have. So that would fall under either blog, music, YouTube, writing, etc. So I have this all set up, and this worked out really well last month. Let me flip back to it. Just like being able to fill it all out and being able to keep track of the things that I'm working on. I found this very helpful, especially getting into the last of the month. I wasn't seeing physical results of the work that I was doing, if that makes sense, because every single day it's something coming out. It was fun to see something posted and everything else, but obviously long-term projects, a lot of it is putting in that work on the front end without having any tangible results to look at. And so definitely the time log is something that helps to keep everything in perspective and help to keep the motivation going. And then I have my weekly spread for this first week, and I have it set up in my little to-do for the week of the things that I would like to do specifically for the upcoming few days by personal and professional. I have an area to recap different things for the day. I've noticed I'm focusing on using this recap section as focusing on things that I'm grateful for. I'm very much focusing on building a mindset of appreciation and gratitude in order to help build a more beneficial mindset for loving myself, being able to love the life that I lead, and being able to live more in the present. So I have all of that on this top section. My goodness, this top section. And then on the bottom, I have my meal tracker, as I'm still having to focus on eating healthy and being more mindful with my eating. So I have all of this set up, and I am excited about this next week. And here is my daily spread. And so I'm going to be filling all of this in through the week with the different tasks that I will be working on, and either separating it as needed by personal and professional, or if it's just going to be a heavy day one direction or the other, I can use the full space. I find that this is enough space for me to be able to work on tracking the tasks and staying on point. So this is everything that I have currently set up for my bullet journal in here. I do have more for my business side, but I found that it was getting a bit messy for last month to be able to track the projects that I'm actively working on while also tracking upcoming projects that I'm interested in. So going back into January, after my weekly spread, I actually had a project tracker in which I was tracking the different projects that I had for blog, music, YouTube, and writing, and then I was also tracking at the time my Instagram. This obviously does not look very well filled out, simply because it wasn't actually helping me at all. It was very crowded. It took a lot of time to get set up, and then setting up this page and then having to do it on a weekly basis, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. This was very unhelpful with being able to plan for the future and trying to get ahead on my posts. And it was hard to keep track of things that I'm currently working on because many of them I weren't actually finishing in the course of a week. It was taking a bit longer for some of them, and I didn't want to have to keep transferring it into like the next week's spreads. And so I figured I wanted to try something different, so that's where I'm going to switch over into my other binder. So this is a binder. I actually got it for Christmas from my Secret Santa. That obviously speaks a bit to my personality, that the person who got me got a binder planner with a bunch of dividers, and it's just so much fun. Anyways, I started utilizing this because I wanted to have a different area to just kind of figure out how I wanted to do things. I knew I wanted to track upcoming, or how should I say this? I like running in lists. Lists are very helpful for me, and I wanted to be able to track down the tasks that I've completed while keeping track of upcoming projects. So this is kind of a look at the spreads that I had going for January. I had separate pages for my different projects, and I separated the top into the section of how many posts that I need, being able to fill in the posts as I complete them. So that way, if I completed a week or two in advance, I already have it filled out and I know, okay, I need 2 more for the rest of this month, or so on and so forth. And then at the bottom, I had a to-do section, and then this way I can keep a running list. One thing that I'm changing going into February though is I still ran into a similar problem that I had with the project tracker on the weekly basis, which is a lot of the projects I want to work on aren't going to be completed in a month. And so I found that I wanted to separate my monthly posts for each of my projects from the to-do lists of things that I'm actively working on. That way I can continue to update new pages for my posts and keep that live and running while not necessarily having to transfer over all of my to-do information. And then I'm going to just be tracking what's completed every month based on different colors, and I'll color coordinate because I like that. So getting into it, you're gonna notice the holes are on the wrong side of the page, simply because I'm left-handed, and so it's a lot easier to write it this way. So to look at this, I'm going to flip it backwards because this is how I use it. And so opening it, I have little pages of post-its and all this good stuff. And then this is how I'm updating it. So where before I had my posting schedule and my to-do list on the same page, and I separated it by type of project, instead I'm doing it all now on a single page. So my posting schedule for blog, music, and YouTube, I have it all set up, and I have it separated into how many posts I want of each per month. And then I separated it into the day, so the day of the week along with the actual day of the month, or the date. And yeah, I'm excited to be able to fill this out, and I feel like this will be a lot easier for tracking of all of this. And that's where I separated my posting schedule from my to-do lists. So I have one for my blog, music, and for YouTube. And I'm excited to transfer over the few things that I have remaining on my pages for January. And then that way, once all of these to-dos and the open projects are transferred over into here, this way I can keep this running list going into the next couple months, or however long it takes to fill out the to-do pages, while also being able to track and be able to keep for my records my posting schedules per month. So then this way, obviously, the goal is to build out the to-dos, be able to keep track of how far along they go, and just be able to track all of that good stuff for scheduling, while also working on filling up my scheduling for this month. And obviously the goal is to get at least a couple weeks ahead of the posting schedule, if not a full month in advance. So it would be awesome going into next month to have all of this filled out and already starting on March posts before I even get into the month. But obviously it's all about patience, determination, and perseverance. So we're going to see how everything works out by the end of the month. And so I will keep you posted on all of this and how everything for February works out as well. Okay, you guys, so that's everything I have at the moment. I will keep you posted in a couple weeks about how my new formatting goes, and if there are any ways that I can come up with to better organize everything for personal and professional doings. So anyways, until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful month ahead and only the best comes your way, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!